This is On Air with the Mayor. I'm Melinda Miles, Mayor of the great city of Mount Rainier, and I will be your host for this program. We're so glad that you joined us today. We're going to have a special guest coming in to visit with us, Councilwoman Deni Taveras from the County Council. She represents our district, District 2, and you're going to want to hear what she's going to be talking about as we talk about her new job as council member for District 2. Make sure you come back.
Parents sure have their hands full, and they could use an extra hand. Now, every state offers free or low-cost health insurance for your sports hero or budding artist. Kids up to age 19 can get checkups, doctor and dentist visits, hospital care, prescriptions, and more. Your child will qualify based on your family size and income. It's one less thing to worry about. Call or go online for more information.
Welcome back to On Air with the Mayor. Of course, I'm your host, Melinda Miles, and of course, I'm the mayor of the great city of Mount Rainier. And I have with me, as promised, Councilwoman Deni Taveras. Welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me, Mayor Miles. Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to come over here and spend a little time with us. I know we just had breakfast this morning. How did that go?
I think it was wonderful. I was very invigorated from that discussion that we had this morning, and I'm very pleased to be here with you and to say hello to your audience and have an opportunity for us to get a chance to talk again.
Well, I'm going to say welcome again, and to say that one of the great things that I found with you is your willingness to come out and meet with your mayors and to kind of keep us abreast of what's going on at the county level, because sometimes we feel like we're left out. You know, we're just municipalities. Who cares?
Well, I mean, it's an important percentage of the population here, and so I find that it's very important to remain engaged, and I think that it really change starts from the bottom up. I'm very much pro grassroots movement, so I am someone who wants to have the community engaged at a very, very local level.
That's awesome. I met with the council member this morning with her other mayors in the other municipalities, and I had to make a confession. And I confessed to her, I didn't support you during the election, but oh my God, am I glad that you won. That was sincere, Councilwoman. I mean, it really was sincere. It's from here, you know.
Thank you. I really do appreciate it. I feel that I've proven myself to you, and that my dedication is a strong one, and it's, you know, stalwart, and I'm a stalwart supporter of, you know, our communities.
No hesitation on my part. It comes from the heart, and you have not only proven yourself, but I find you to be a lot more approachable, and that has made me feel like, okay, we can talk. We don't have to agree on everything, but we can talk, and I appreciate that. Over the last couple of times that we've met, we've been pretty much on the same page.
We have.
Had pretty much the same ideas, headed the same direction, and so it's easy to put my support behind you. So I really appreciate that.
Not a problem. That's what I'm here, and I'm here to serve.
All right. One of the things that I've asked, and a couple of our residents and your constituents have asked, is why did you decide to want this job? You know it's thankless.
It is a thankless job. It is. And I feel like my honeymoon is over. But what really drove me to run was that the Purple Line was such a big issue for us, and it may not be as directly impacting in this particular region of the district, but right where I live, we're going to have about 4 stops. Okay. That are within maybe a mile's distance, to a mile and a half distance from where I live. And so that can really, truly transform a lot of communities. Each of those stops would transform a lot of communities that live around those stops. And so I really wanted to have an integral say in what happened.
Awesome, there. Awesome. Sometimes because I live so far away from it, I never hear or get any real questions about the Purple Line. So as you noted, it is impacting your district, and one of the things that we looked at is transportation. Transportation is vital in this area. My biggest concern, even with Upper Marlboro, it is difficult to get there. If you don't have a car,
I agree.
the buses don't run very often.
I feel like you're going to pass cows and deer every time you're going to drive on by over there. I really do think. I know it's far away. It is.
It's far away, and residents don't come.
Yeah.
You know, and so
I didn't even go to Upper Marlboro that frequently until
now there's a requirement.
Now I have to go daily, and I was like, I would never before would venture to those regions there because I was so localized here and in my community here.
Yes.
That there was no need for me to go down there.
Well, thank you. We're going to have a few more questions for our council person. We're going to take a few minutes right now to let our producers and whoever else sponsors have a few minutes to talk with you, and then we're going to come back. And I have a number of questions that I prepared to ask the council member, and you're going to get to hear her answers. Thank you so much. Expect you to tune back in.
With liberty and justice for all. Does that mean bunnies? Bunnies are so cute. And kitties? And puppies?
Only some animals have basic rights and protections.
What about mice? And rats? Chickens? Cows? Pigs?
Every year in the U.S., thousands of companion animals and billions of factory farm and lab animals are legally abused and killed.
What about sheep? Sheep are kinda cute. I like sheep.
Without your help, torture and mutilation will continue to be okay in the name of corporate greed. But it can be stopped. Join the Animal Legal Defense Fund and tell Congress you support sensible, humane laws. Add your voice to the growing chorus of Americans to basic rights and protections for all living creatures.
Okay, liberty and justice for the sheep.
Sign the petition at animalbillofrights.org.
Don't forget the puppies.
Welcome back to On Air with the Mayor, and of course I'm your host, Melinda Miles, the mayor here in the great city of Mount Rainier. And I asked about why she decided to run. I want to know, what are some of your goals? I mean, what do you want to accomplish over the next 4 years?
Well, there's a series of things that I think we can achieve within the next 4 years. One of them is the biggest impact that we can have in our county over the next 50 years, I would say, is to revamp our zoning regulations countywide. That is incredibly important. I just had a very, very well attended zoning rewrite briefing that just occurred April 2nd.
Okay.
And it's very important for people to be able to understand the zoning laws.
Okay.
Right now, they're very outdated, over 50 years old.
They are.
And it's been patchwork with Band-Aids. And I think that if we want to create a 21st century development or attract 21st century development to our region, we need to have 21st century laws in place. And so that's one of my key goals. Other than that is economic development. When we talk about that, we're really talking about creation of jobs and creation of workspace and infill development, so that we can revitalize neighborhoods like Route 1, West Hyattsville, and those areas. I think that right now we're really at a critical point in the county to really put something behind the expression that we're open for business.
All right.
So we have MGM coming. We have the regional hospital that we just got our certificate of need as of as of today.
Okay.
We've got our certificate of need to start the regional hospital. Obviously, we're very well positioned to attract the FBI to our region. We have the head of the Department of Community and Housing, Community and Economic Development, Housing Development for the state, coming to New Carrollton. So we have all these.
So we're positioned to move forward.
We're positioned to really change the mix of
Okay.
quality jobs
Okay.
in the county in a very, very integral way that we've never been positioned in the recent past.
Okay. And so your goal
and
then,
the purple line, if should the purple line go, that would also add to the cadre of possibilities that which would impact District 2 significantly.
So just in the last, I guess, 6 months, there's been a learning curve.
Well, obviously, in terms of, the learning curve that I always knew that this mix was happening and was in the works, but I mean, what I've learned is our budget is really at a standstill right now. We're really at a precipice of what are we going to do? Do we fix the structural deficit that we have, or do we ante up and invest in education the way we need to in order to continue to attract some of the quality investments that we would like to see happen in the county?
So that brings me to my next question. You understand it. I think I get it. How are we going to get our residents and our constituents out there to understand that this is a long-term, necessary investment of not only time but money if we want to move us forward?
Well, the creation of expanding our commercial tax base with all these options that I listed will help offset the cost that we would need to burden our real property owners. And so that's one of the critical issues, that how can we make sure that we're still investing in our schools, which are in dire need, but at the same time still not putting all the pressure behind
on the homeowner.
On the homeowners.
Very good. Because as you know and I know, municipalities already feel stressed. A lot of their funding has been cut. A lot of other things aren't coming out there. You hear people going under on a regular basis. So with those new resources coming in, hopefully they're going to generate some new revenue, a new tax base where we can get more funding from businesses to help carry some of the load, which takes some of the new taxing that might have to happen to property owners.
And a statistic that I learned this week, which has really impacted me, was that 11% of the square footage of Montgomery County is commercial tax, but it generates up to almost 40 to 50% of their tax base, compared to the 30% that we have. And I don't know yet how much commercial square footage we have here and what that consists of in terms of our land mass. But I think once I figure that out, to me, that's kind of a metric that I know that I want to be able to move towards and be able to concentrate the commercial tax bases around the metro stations. And we have two great metro stations. We're currently in communications with WMATA. We're looking to revitalize West Hyattsville. We're in the precipice. They're already putting out a great RFP by this time next in June to really get quotes on how do we redesign the downtown area into a new downtown area for West Hyattsville around that metro stop.
And just kind of piggybacking on that, I spoke with County Exec Rashawn Baker probably a week, 2 weeks ago at the 20th Annual Women's Annual Luncheon, and I think he said in his speech that at this point in time in Prince George's County, 70% of the money comes from property taxes in the homeowner, and about 30% comes from businesses. And his goal is to push it up to at least 50-50 or 51-50 so that it isn't the burden on taxpayers that it is and has been in the past. And what you're saying is that that's your goal. We need to get there.
And so I'm working with Rashawn in order to make that happen.
Okay, very good, very good.
And we can do that. We can do that around the metro stations. We've seen a lot of development around Prince George's Plaza Mall, and there's still, and it's the highest grossing in the county. So we're really heading in the right direction.
So I know taxes is a dirty word.
It is sure.
Nobody want to raise taxes, but everybody want new stuff. Everybody wants state of the art. Everybody want the best schools in the county. They want their children to go to the best schools that exist. How do we get them there?
Well, the county executive has proposed a plan. Right now, we're analyzing that plan to see if it will. And there's going to be a leap of faith on our part to put our
To figure out how we're going to get there.
No, to trust to put our trust behind Dr. Maxwell and his word. It's going to be a leap of faith, because we can look and analyze all the data, but there's going to be a point where we're going to have to ante up and say, do we believe you or not? And will you be able to deliver? And can we assess you at every single year to see if you
Where's
are
the progress?
Exactly. We have to be able to see an annual metric on an annual basis. We have to see the progress that he's achieving, and it's got to be measurable. And so for me, I am someone who is I'm a little bit of a policy wonk. I am somebody who would like to see
Show
that
it to me.
I need to see it. Exactly. I need to see the data.
I think I totally agree with you, because I need to see it too. It's like, all right, I have often just kind of bought a pig in a poke because I trust it. I've gotten past that as I've aged, to say, okay, I've been promised that pig and I've been given that pork for a long time, and I haven't seen it materialize in what we say it's going to be.
3 years from now, it's going to come. The rubber's going to hit the road, and we're going to have to know. And if not, there are consequences that come with that as well.
Absolutely. So that brings me to my next question on here, which is, what kind of outreach have you been doing? Since you've been in office, what have you been doing? Have you been sitting in your nice little cozy office saying, "Oh God, I'm so glad I'm here"? What have you been doing?
It's actually kind of cold in there, so I don't stay there very much. But I've hired Juanica Fisher, who is someone from within the community, and a beautiful young lady she's also a lawyer. But she's very astute with the social media piece, and so I put myself. We've got the website up and running. We have Twitter now. We have a Facebook page. All of this is county related, so that people can reach out to me through social media and connect with me.
But haven't you been out there? Because I'm going to tell you,
I did have all that, but that was political. I had to separate the political sphere from the county council.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, I can't seem to go to a meeting or to an event without you being there. And you have made it, and I think that's one of the things that have impressed me with you. Not only do you come, but you come prepared.
I like to read.
Okay. so part of your outreach then is, I'm not sending somebody, I'm actually showing up.
Oh, no, most definitely. I am someone who likes to be very engaged, and I've just gotten that from, I've looked to Senator Victor Ramirez as a mentor, and so for that, that's kind of how our troops are trained, so we're very much engaged, and we're very much on the ground, and we're very present in the communities. I mean, every month, if possible, I'm going to be present at those civic association meetings.
I think that's awesome.
At community meetings.
And when you don't come, when you can't make it,
I send someone.
And who's your new chief of staff?
Well, right now, my chief of staff is Michael Watson, and he's someone very well known within the community, and I'm very glad to have him on board.
I have to say, and I said this to Michael when I found out that he was going to be on your team. I said she couldn't have picked a better person. I've known Michael for a while. I think he's a busy person, but he's also knowledgeable, and he's also open to learning, open to new ideas, and I've always appreciated that by him. So congratulations on a great choice.
I very appreciate. I think I'm very appreciative of him because he's very good with his time. He's very expeditious and efficient. And I really appreciate that.
Since we're on staff, let's talk about some other people. I met Mr. Moody, and Walter Moody, and I think I heard, or he told me, he's working with seniors.
We've done our outreach to all the senior all senior facilities, and we have our meet and greets, and so that's been going very well. Right now, I'm working on a bill to protect seniors that are in market rate rental housing in residential retirement communities, to see if we can do 2-year leases for them and try to specifically those people who are on fixed income, so that the market doesn't rattle them too much, and they keep increasing their rents every couple of months or every year.
Having stepped across that little line that separate seniors from everybody else, I think that's an awesome move. Considering that I have one large senior complex here in Mount Rainier known as Rainier Manor. And if I've heard anything else, they are drowning because the rent keeps going up, medication keeps going up, Medicare pays 80%, they got to have some supplement, and so whatever leftover they have, their quality of life has gone downhill because they just can't keep up.
And not only that, it's like this is a building that has received, monies from the state, that has received, assistance to build it, to be built and renovated, and so I think that the least they can do is try to control some of the rents for some of our seniors that live there.
All right.
And so
I'm going to have to take a pause. You are with us here at On Air with the Mayor, and we're certainly glad that you've tuned in and that our councilwoman has come to spend a few minutes with us to talk about what's going on at the county level. We'll be right back, and we certainly hope you'll be joining us.
There are nearly 325,000 community associations across the U.S., managing property valued at billions of dollars. How your community is managed can have a huge impact on its worth. Why purchase a home in a community whose manager isn't a certified manager of community associations, a CMCA? It is recognized around the world as the essential credential for professional community association management. Protect your investment. Ask if your manager is CA certified. Learn more about the CMCA at camicb.org.
We're back from our little pause and break, and as you know, we're having a discussion with Councilwoman Deni Taveras, and I am just thrilled that she took time out of her day to be here with me. If I'd have been as smart as I used to think I was, I'd have made this a live On Air with the Mayor, and then you could have called in and maybe asked some of your questions. But I promise you, if she'll give me the time, I'm going to ask her to come back because she's going to be there. And as we go through this, I think one of the things I'm going to try to do is to keep you in tune with what she's doing as she helps keep us in tune so that when she needs support, she'll be able to call on you. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Glad to have you, as I stated earlier. If I could ask you one question about all of what's going on at the county council level. How do you get along with the county exec? And how do you get along with your county council members? And how have you been able to make this start working for you?
Well, we've actually had, we have a very good relationship. We've got a very good relationship with the county exec's office. As you know, Brad Fromm works for him, and he used to be someone who used to work within District 2, so that's a very good...
That's a plus.
That's a plus. That's a fruitful relationship in terms of, it's nice to have somebody who's vested in the community to push the projects forward, like the Hyattsville Library and things like that, and even propose different ideas, because I was interested in seeing how we can get the library closer to the metro, but it didn't work out, but it's okay. Those are opportunities that we can... And things that we can engage in the future. Now
you raised something that I will get beat up if I don't answer. You talked about the Hyattsville Library. Is it moving? Is it staying where it is? Now there's some plans coming. What?
It's going to stay where it is.
Okay.
And it's going to, and we're in the process of getting all the things in place in order to start pushing the agenda forward to reconstructing a new building there.
So now you heard it first. The building is not moving. They may knock it down. They may come up with something new, but it's going to still be over there on Delphi Road.
And it will be, and the saucer will also remain there.
All right, see, things are going to change, but for the better.
Yes.
That's going to be a project you can look forward to over the next coming months. How do you get along with the county council?
It's great.
You got all these other different opinions floating around.
No, but I think that we've been, despite, people may have some differences, but so far we've gelled very, very well. We went ahead and I've worked with
Councilwoman Harrison.
Well, no, Councilwoman Mary Lehman and,
yes,
and Councilwoman Danielle Glaros to pass a styrofoam ban and it got really great reviews
Okay.
within the Mount Rainier community.
Absolutely.
I received a ton of email from the community members. I responded to all of them, and I'm very
Okay.
excited about the people who've reached out, and I'm very thankful for them reaching out to me and letting me know how interested they were in preserving and improving our environment. So, and to that end, I mean, I've worked with her. I've also worked closely with Derek Davis and
Okay.
and Andrea Harrison and Mel Franklin
Okay.
on the series of issues in the negotiations and Todd Turner in the negotiations regarding the budget.
Okay. Okay.
We have approximately $50 million gap that we need to close by June
June
30th.
31st?
June
June
30th.
30th. I'm sorry, no 31 in June. Thank you. Okay.
And so we've been negotiating, and we've done a really good job. So what that tells me is that we've got really good synergy in the council, and should that synergy remain and that collegial environment remain the way I see it now, it could be extremely fruitful, because that means that we can actually get to do a lot of things on the council.
So you're hopeful. You're thinking that this is working.
It is. It's very positive. I think we've got really great synergy occurring within the council members.
I think
right
that's
now.
awesome. As I sat and thought about inviting you here, I guess one of the things folks always like to know about other people is, tell me a little bit about you personally. I understand the hard work, because I've seen the hard work. I understand what some of the goals are, but how's the personal? So someone once said, women need to learn how to mix their business with their personal lives, and you can't just give that up. What are you doing to preserve you?
Well, my life is boring now. I mean, I'm so busy working that when I have downtime, I just stay home and read the newspaper. I have a little dog, and he keeps me company, and Lucky.
But
but my life is boring. I haven't gone out. I haven't done much.
Have you not gone out because you didn't want to go out? Did you not go out because you had all this other stuff you still thought you could do and stay ahead? Because I can't have you drowning.
No. I'm not drowning. I've got Micah to drown.
Sounds like a good deal.
This is the first time I've had staff, and it's a new experience for me.
Okay. Very good.
Well, I mean, this large of a staff,
but this big,
and with this much responsibility. So it's an interesting take on it, because usually I was the busy bee. And
yes.
So it feels a little weird, and I'm readjusting to
There's
that.
a flip.
So I want people to feel that they can call me at any time, and that they can be able to. That I'm somebody that they can approach at any time, and that I'll be there to listen.
Now you heard her. She want to hear from you. So I think she's going to have to give up some phone numbers. You think that would be a good thing to do? Do you want them to call you, or do you want them to call Micah? I asked this morning, just after you left, so you'll know. I said, Micah, who do you want us to call? You gave us all these people that's working for the council person, but who should we really call?
Well, call the main office. The office is 301-952-4436. Okay, so let me say that again.
Slowly, so make sure we get
slowly. 301-952-4436.
All right. And that's for anything, because someone answering that phone is going to know who to direct your call to. So you have other staff. We talked about Mr. Michael Watson. He's your chief of staff. We talked about Mr. Moody, who is your senior person. You talked about Juanica Fisher, who is your outreach person, but is also an attorney, social media.
So she's doing a little bit of policy. And we have another young man who's amazing, Mr. Altman Pinnell.
Okay.
He's a young man who's also bound for great things. He's currently completing a master's, and I'm supporting him on that.
Okay.
A master's in public policy at Bowie State.
Awesome.
And so he's a great young man from, I think, originally Southern Virginia, but he's,
up and coming
African American male who's strong and
fired up and ready to go.
Fired up and ready to go, exactly.
Okay.
And so I gotta protect our, support our brothers out there. And so I'm happy to have him on board, and he's my constituent services person
Awesome.
out on the street, and so I'm very happy to have him on board. At the phone and at the desk, we have this young lady who's wonderful, who's from within the community. She lives in the district, Miss Susan Larios.
Okay.
And so she's bilingual. She's someone that will be able to address
You
the
just
needs
touched on my question. Go ahead. But one of the things folks want to know, well, I mean, I only speak Spanish, or I speak very limited English. I have issues. Who do I call?
And people will be there she'll be there to respond to those needs. And if people need to, feel free to call me. They can also call me as well. But we also have another young man, Luis Angel Aguilar, he's our guy on the street, our organizer.
Eyes and ears and making this happen, and where do I need to handle and organize issues over there?
If I need things done at the street level, he's our guy. For example, we just got a community cleanup flyer that needs to be passed around for community cleanup day in one of our areas in Chillum, and so we'll put the people out there and flag houses so that people could get involved and clean up our neighborhoods.
All right. This is On Air with the Mayor, and we've been talking with our council member, Ms. Deni Taveras. She's answered a lot of my questions and some that I've gotten from you. We're going to take one more break, and we're going to be right back, and you will be welcome to join us for the last segment of our interview with Councilwoman Deni Taveras.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
I think it goes around.
Let's go. We gotta get you to practice.
And it's set!
Councilwoman, I got to tell you, it's been delightful to sit here and talk with you about your dreams, your goals, what's happening in the county, all kinds of things.
It's my pleasure.
And I'm just going to say, how do we wrap this up? Because I could continue going on, but I'm going to leave some for the next time. This is your opportunity to talk to me or talk to our audience about something I haven't raised that you might want to share. I stayed away from that 15%, but I did ask Micah earlier, how comfortable would you be to talk about it? If that's something you want to talk about, you can, but I think I want to handle that maybe in a different, I want people to know Councilwoman Taveras. I don't want them to get bogged down about the 15% because that's a show by itself.
That's a show by itself, and that's going to be a lot of negotiations, and we're still in negotiations. So I haven't taken a position because I'm still hearing the opinions.
Okay.
So that we can't really make.
And you've had at least 4 listening sessions.
And I've had 4 listening sessions, and some were more populated than others. So that's also an issue of concern because we need to really let the community know.
You need to hear from the people.
I need to hear from the people.
She needs to hear from the people.
What people think about that, definitely. But outside of the budgetary concerns that we have as a county, the biggest thing is that I want people to. We had a room of almost 100 plus people yesterday on the 2nd. Yesterday, last night. Oh my gosh. Regarding the zoning rewrite, and so I really want to stress to people. For people to remain engaged in that process. It's going to be a long process, but I want people to get and to find out what's going on from the very, very beginning. And so we're trying to reduce the number of zones that we have in the county. We're trying to make sure that the zoning laws are really easy to read, that they're very legible and simple to understand, and very concise. We're trying to at this point, we've hired a consultancy firm they went through a competitive bidding process. And so these are people who are experts in the field of best practices of zoning regulations for people like us, in the counties like us. And they have specialized personnel that is very familiar with zoning in Prince George's County. So it's not that they're coming from outside trying to impose. they are here. And there's somebody. They're people who have hired and know
Okay.
people that have worked in the county. So these recommendations are not coming off the cuff. And particularly the big issue with what they're proposing is that they're looking to take some of the power away from district council
Yes.
and bring it to the level of the planning director, so that things can be a little bit more predictable for companies coming in to develop.
Okay.
And so that says a lot right there. That's a big issue.
That's a big issue.
And so because of that, I want people to remain engaged in the process so that they are very familiar throughout the next couple of years as to when in the process of rewriting they're walking along with us in that process, so there'll be no surprises.
Awesome, awesome. I believe very clearly that you can hear from her passion, her sincerity, and her commitment that we have a new county council member that will be working for the people in her district. There's not much more you can ask. She's one person, she has one vote. She has other council members that also have to vote on an issue. Like in the city, you have to have a majority to get anything passed. And that means she has to negotiate. She won't get everything we ask for, but she will be at least a voice for the great city of Mount Rainier, Maryland. So I want to thank you, council member, for coming. Thank you for your candor. Thank you for your involvement. And we look forward to having you back.
Thank you.
With On Air with the mayor in the great city of Mount Rainier, Maryland. Until next time, this is your mayor, Melinda Miles. Thank you for listening.